So I've got some parts finally. The full float rear axle kit showed up from PJ's Offroad. I'm going to get stuck into putting it on. It uses a Pt3 front hub, Sierra front caliper and Sierra front rotor. Have to buy your own bolts and seals, so it's not complete, but it's all the big bits that you need to make it work. I just went and picked up my 5 lengths of steel, so I can get stuck into making the cage. The front links, I need to finish them off, and I need to extend my rear tail shafts. So plenty of parts. Get into it. So I've got my parts laid out. It's a Sierra front caliper, Pt3 spindle. These are the adapter and the brake caliper bracket out of the kit. The drive flange out of the kit. As I said, it doesn't come with any bolts, so you need to work that out. These are a 8.8 M10 by 50. These are a 12.9 cap head. I think they were 25mm long. Drive flanges are thicker than the standard Asian freewheeling hubs. So with a standard bolt, there wasn't very many threads out the end. I had issues in the front end of the car where I was shearing those bolts, so I just wanted a little bit stronger bolt that I could tighten down harder, with less chance of it stretching. Hopefully that'll solve that problem with the bigger tyres. Axles are made of 300M steel, which is stronger than the usual chromoly axles that you can get for these things. I don't know if I can get that in focus, but my standard axles are twisted almost a full spline over on both sides. So I ran the car with a 33-inch tyre for a fairly long time without breaking them. These new 35s, I think, might have tested them. So these are just a little bit of peace of mind. Also gives me disc brake rear, which is another bonus. So this isn't really a how-to video, but there isn't really anything on these kits out there, so I'll do my best to sort of explain how it all goes together and what parts you need, all that sort of stuff, just to help some people out that are in a similar situation to me. So yeah, I'll start bolting it together. So the adapter slips on. This piece is meant to slide on behind there and then butt up to the back to sandwich it together when you bolt it. I've put my radius arm mount in the way of that, so I'm thinking I'll just cut this bracket through here, have it as 2 pieces, and then once it's back in there and I pull the rear diff out to finish it all up, I'll weld the bracket back together once it's in. So I'll go cut it. So it's cut out. All these brackets also don't come with any sort of coating on them. So I've sprayed them with a little bit of WD-40 when I first opened them so they didn't go all rusty, but I'm going to have to paint it all. Just that bit. Brake caliper. I'm gonna have to notch a little bit out of my radius arm bracket to get it in. That shouldn't be too big of a deal, I hope. But that's the problem with modifying cars, nothing ever fits properly again. I haven't got the axle seal in it, I'm just sort of mocking it all up. To see what I do need to change. I already know that the caliper bracket doesn't fit properly, the caliper doesn't fit, so just more things I've got to do. For people that don't know, the main advantage over the full float axle and why they are so much stronger than the standard is this axle doesn't hold the weight of the vehicle at all. So it doesn't have as much force on the axle. You can change the axle with the wheel still on the car. You just need to pull that drive flange off and pull it out. Yeah. And the dry flange goes on. And there's new bolts. So yeah, really simple to put together if you don't have a super modified car. Caliper will just go on the standard Sierra rotor from the front end. Will slip on there. Then I just have to do brake lines and all that sort of stuff. So pretty basic to put together. There is a little cap, screws on the end. So that's all that done. So I've got both sides sitting together now. All but the rotors and brake pads. I've still got to do hard lines for the brake lines and all that sort of stuff. Something I didn't touch on with the Sierra calipers is obviously you lose your handbrake. I got one of these on eBay, modified a little bit so it fits in the standard spot. It's just got a little lever to lock it on, so I'm just going to run that as my handbrake, so there'll be no more cable handbrake. Just for people who don't have Facebook, this is the details for the company that did those axles. I think it'll focus. So the full float rear is all done. I just need to get the brakes in. Both the axles are in. I've painted the dry flanges so they don't go rusty. Just got the front end with the wheel off. I'm putting the long wheelbase Vitara brake calipers in the front end, and the Vitara rotors as well, so I just thought I'd show the differences between them. Caliper itself, it's got a bigger piston, holds more fluid. Brake pads are a bit bigger. The rotors are the same diameter. The Vitara rotors are thicker and vented than the standard Sierra ones, which are just a solid rotor. It's a bolt-in thing. The Vitara rotor just slips on, and the caliper has the same bolt holes, so goes on there. Pretty easy upgrade for the front end of these Sierras. It'll be disc brakes all round from now. So it's got the Vitara calipers and rotors in the front and Sierra calipers and rotors in the back. So all pretty easy to get parts for, which is a big thing for me with this car. I don't want to be waiting 3 months to get a part. Basically the only thing I've ordered for the car has been the tyres. They took 6-7 months to arrive with COVID and all of the stuff going on with the docks, so that's really the only thing that's worrying me with the car, and availability. Everything else seems to be pretty easy to get, so I'll keep going. Also got a coil model Sierra front clip and bonnet. I'm going to try and pinch this front clip like I did with the standard front end, just for a bit something different really. I don't know if it'll work. There's no real easy spot to cut to pinch it. If I go in the middle, the grill won't work and the bonnet won't line up with the body lines. If I go here, I can get about 30 mil out, but it might look weird with the grill and the headlights, so be a little bit of playing around to see if it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll run the wide track front end. If it does, it's something different. Got the bonnet there as well. It's been modified to suit on a leaf sprung car. The coil model scuttle panel sits higher up, so the bonnet is actually this thick instead of this thick. So it's a lot of work for not a lot. I don't think the bonnet's that big of a deal breaker, but I do like everything to tie in nicely. So I've also got the coil scuttle panel. If I can make the front clip work how I want it to work, I'll try and graft it in to get the body lines right, make it look a little bit nicer. So I'll start playing around with it next, try and get it on the car. I've got to try and get the whole thing somewhat back together, and get it to weight so that I can put the front and rear pan hard rods in. Then I can cycle the suspension properly, get the guard chop done, fix up the tub, and get stuck into all of the little jobs that I've been putting off, like this big bundle of wiring, and get stuck into the exhaust, the coolant piping, and try and get it running.